So here's another sick care myth. Your cholesterol is high, you need a statin drug. Well, let's look at the data. As of 2019, 92 million Americans were taking statin drugs. At the same time, heart disease is still the #1 cause of death in the United States. And concurrently, between 2019 and 2022, heart disease mortality increased roughly 10%. So as these wonderful life-saving medications called statins have been distributed more and more rapidly, death from heart disease has also increased. Clearly, the medications are failing tremendously at restoring heart health. Because cholesterol isn't really the problem. Cholesterol is really your body's response to a deeper imbalance, the increase in cholesterol that we see, right? Inflammation, poor digestion, or liver congestion. But the truth is, cholesterol isn't an enemy and it's not a bad thing. It's your body's firefighter showing up to protect you from inflammation and oxidative stress. Cholesterol is essential. It's the raw material for every hormone in your body. It builds every single cell membrane in your body. Vitamin D is made from cholesterol. It's critical for your brain, which is over 60% fat by weight. As we age, our brains naturally demand more cholesterol to maintain memory, focus, and nerve insulation. Cholesterol makes up the myelin sheaths that protect the nerves in your brain. It's necessary for protecting us against cognitive decline. This was always an established and accepted physiological increase, and Big Pharma knew that quite well when they came up with an acceptable number to medicate people for an otherwise normal part of our aging process. So does it make sense to lower cholesterol with age using a statin drug, especially when we see cognitive decline rising exponentially in the same era as statin use? If you really think about the cost associated with the end-of-life care due to dementia, Alzheimer's, and the cognitive decline, you could see why it would be in the best interest of those who profit from those diseases to put you on medication that give you those end-of-life sick scenarios. So you have to ask yourself, is this medicine based on profit or physiology? Over the years, the acceptable cholesterol numbers have been lowered again and again from 240 to 220 to 200. And now even 180 is called ideal. Let's be honest, lowering cholesterol beyond what your body naturally makes isn't health, it's interference. People have been programmed to believe that no cholesterol on a label means it's healthy. Yet many of those foods, chips, cereals, low-fat snacks are packed with sugar and seed oils that actually inflame your arteries and drive your liver to make more cholesterol to protect those arteries. Your body doesn't make cholesterol to harm you, it makes it to heal you. But here's the part few people will talk about. Triglycerides are a much better indicator of metabolic health than total cholesterol. High triglycerides reflect metabolic dysfunction, your body turning sugar and stress into stored fat in the blood. If your triglycerides are high, it's not necessarily because you eat too much fat. It's because your liver is overwhelmed by sugar, alcohol, stress hormones, and the like. When I see high triglycerides and low HDL, I know the body's stuck in sugar burning mode and the cells aren't oxidizing fuel efficiently. To me, that's a red flag for insulin resistance, the foundation of heart disease, inflammation, and fatigue. It's rampant in our societies. It's one of our biggest problems. So instead of worrying about total cholesterol, look at your triglyceride to HDL ratio. That's a better indicator of cardiovascular disease and metabolic health, in my opinion. Your liver is the traffic controller of cholesterol and triglycerides. When it's sluggish or congested from poor diet and lifestyle, LDL and triglycerides rise out of proportion. So when your labs are off, don't ask, how do I lower this number? Ask, what are these numbers trying to tell me? Is bile flowing? Is gallbladder releasing? Are stomach acid and pancreatic enzymes strong enough to break down the fats? Because what I see all the time is that people with so-called cholesterol problems actually have really poor digestive weaknesses upstream. Low stomach acid, weak pancreatic output, poor bile flow. When fat isn't properly digested, the liver compensates by overproducing cholesterol to meet your body's needs for hormones and repair. Once we strengthen digestion and normalize stomach acid levels, support the pancreas and gallbladder, the lipid panel a lot of the times will balance out on its own. No drugs, just restoring the physiology of the person. And yes, chiropractic does play a role in this as well. When we rebalance the nervous system, we restore proper signaling to the liver, pancreas, and the gut. That electrical communication from the brain to the organs of digestion controls motility, secretion, detoxification. Chiropractic restores the electrical flow, And functional medicine restores the biochemical flow, and acupuncture restores that energetic flow. So we use these three to get to the root of what's going on. Through acupuncture, we can influence organ meridians that support liver detoxification, digestive strength, and blood lipid regulation. By balancing qi along the liver, gallbladder, and spleen meridians, we reduce systemic stagnation, the energetic equivalent of inflammation. So when a patient combines chiropractic to realign the structure, functional medicine to correct the chemistry, and acupuncture to harmonize the energy, the body finally speaks one language again. And that's what we call the Massoud Method. The Massoud Method isn't about suppressing symptoms. It's about decoding what your body is saying through its labs, its tension, and its energy. Instead of asking, how do I lower cholesterol, we ask, what systems need support? We look at inflammation, blood sugar trends, liver and bile flow, digestive enzyme strength, which is something that naturally decreases with age and a poor diet, hormone balance, which our environment is destroying, nervous system tone, and now the energetic flow that ties it all together. Because your numbers aren't random, they're the body's language. And when you restore the communication across the structures and chemistry and energy, the body doesn't just change, it heals. So cholesterol isn't the villain, it's a messenger, a clue that the system is adapting to something upstream. When you strengthen digestion, free the liver, balance energy, and calm the nervous system, your labs stop reflecting disease and start reflecting harmony. We don't aim to change numbers, we aim to restore communication. And when the system communicates, it heals. Drugs do a very good job at changing number on lab work, but that's not health. Fixing all those things and putting it together that we just talked about, that's the Massoud Method. Thanks, guys. Be well.